Hello guys, and welcome back. Now we are talking about the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act, and we are asking ourselves, what does it say? The first thing you should know is that this act was passed into law in 2014 by President Goodluck Jonathan. Prior to that, we didn't have a cogent law on this particular subject matter. We didn't. The extent of what we had at that point was the criminal code. Do you understand? And the criminal code lacked in a lot of things. For example, he did not prohibit the marriage. He didn't prohibit the union of same sex. This act prohibits it. And let us go to section 1 of this particular act. And what does it say? Section 1 tells us that a marriage contract or civil union entered into between persons of same sex is A, prohibited in Nigeria, and B, shall not be recognized as entitled to the benefit of a valid marriage. So you can see there are two things that are prohibited. Number 1, marriage. Number 2, civil union. Now, when everybody, we all know what marriage is. So when I saw marriage, then I needed to understand what exactly then is civil union. And then I had to go to the definition section, which is section 7 of the act. What does civil union mean in section 7? Section 7 tells us that civil union means any arrangement between persons of the same sex to live together as partners, and include such description as A, adult independent relationship, B, caring partners, C, civil partnership, D, civil solidarity pact, E, domestic partnership, F, reciprocal beneficial partner. What they are saying basically is that there are two elements to defining what a civil union is. Number 1, two people of the same sex must be living together. That means that they must be cohabiting in the same house. And secondly, they must be cohabiting for the purposes of being sexual partners. Do you understand? So that's different from marriage, because marriage, you go to the registry and you go and sign, and it becomes formal, it becomes legal. But in this case, whether or not it's formal, whether or not it's legal, if you are in the same house with same sex, not that there's nothing wrong with being in the same house with same sex, so you can have roommates, who are guys, and you guys pay the house rent together. But the moment you people are staying in that house for the purposes of being sexual partners, then it becomes an illegal thing, because section 1, read in line with section 7, criminalizes that act. Do you understand? But there is something I found out. But before I tell you what I found out, let us go to another thing that we need to talk about here. That is section 3. Section 3 tells us that only a marriage contracted between a man and a woman shall be recognized as valid. Section 3 basically reinforces what section 1 says. Section 1 says marriage between same sex is not valid. Section 6 tells us, yes, marriage between same sex is not valid, and therefore only a marriage between the man and the woman shall be valid. And then let's go to what section 4 now tells us. Section 4 tells us that where you register club, that's section 4 subsection 1, when you register clubs, that gay clubs, societies, organization, and all that, it is prohibited. Subsection 2 is what I deem to be very, very interesting. It tells us that the public show of same-sex amorous relationship, directly or indirectly, is prohibited. Do you see that? Public show. He didn't say private show. He said public show. So when you come outside, same sex, when you come outside and then you decide to hold your partner by the hand, that if it's an amorous thing, then it is prohibited. That is illegal. Do you understand? You shouldn't do that. Now, you cannot hug the other party that is same sex if it is an amorous thing. Know that it is only when there is an amorous feeling going on that it becomes prohibited. I can miss my guy and I'll be like, my guy, although we guys, you don't do that, but my guy, how far, and I decide to hug him. It is very unlikely that you will see a boy hugging a boy that he has missed. The highest he will do just chop knuckle or shake, but let us just say that happens. Now you can do that, but there should not be this amorous feeling. There should not be, I was listening to Amara the lesbian, talk, on Instagram one time, because I feel that she's one of the LGBT rights advocates in Nigeria. And then she said that she doesn't like the homophobic nature of being in Nigeria, because when her partner travels out and all that, and then finally comes back and she wants to, for the first time seeing her partner in months, wants to kiss or hug her, do anything to her partner, the feeling around becomes quite, tense and all that. And I feel that she should know that, the law also prohibits that. The law says that you shouldn't. So until the law tells you to, you shouldn't. Do you understand? So now we then go to section 5. Section 5 is the one that then makes it a criminal offense. When we look at section 5 subsection 1, it tells us that where you contract marriage or where you have civil unions, then you go to prison for 14 years. Now section 5 subsection 2 tells you that where you register organization, participate in gay clubs and all that, then you will go to prison for 10 years and all that. So basically we've looked through the whole of the law. Basically the law is not just so much, it has just 7 to 8 sections. The law is not so much. We've looked through the whole of the law and we can understand what that is. However, if we go to section 214 of the criminal code, there is something that the SSMPA left out that the criminal code did not leave out. The SSMPA basically tells us that where you are living in the house with a person of the same sex that are sexual partners, then that is a crime. Do you understand? But there is something very important that is left out. Now, when you are looking at two people living in the same house, they must be cohabiting for the purposes of being sexual partners. What if they are not actually cohabiting, but they just come intermittently, like, maybe come today, then come next week, and then have sex? The law doesn't prohibit that. Do you understand that? The law actually doesn't prohibit it, because when you look at it, there's nothing that says that the only thing you can't do is section 4 subsection 2 that tells you that you cannot do your display outside. Nothing actually tells you that you cannot do your display inside. And civil union, which is the closest to it, says that you must be living together. In that particular scenario, they are not living together. Do you understand? They just come to have it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then we then have to look at section 214 and section 217. Section 214 tells us that where two people have sex, that's carnal knowledge, which is what the act defines it to be, when they have carnal knowledge against the order of nature. Now, that act did not say publicly or privately. The act says we are two people as sexual partners against the order of nature. Then that's a criminal offense. Do you understand that? So with that, we can see that you are not even supposed to do it again, because if they catch you, they will not charge you under the SSMPA, they will charge you under the criminal code. Do you understand that? Now we've looked at it, and also you need to look at section 217 of the act. It also reinforces that. So we have the whole of the SSMPA, we have section 214 of the criminal code and section 217 of the criminal code that totally prohibits, gay and lesbianism and all that in Nigeria. Do you understand that? So now in my next episode, it's going to be the interview session and all that, where I'll be discussing the constitutionality of the law, and then also have conversations with our guest speaker, that is Igbokwe Ebuka, on this particular subject matter. It promises to be interesting and fun. See you in my next episode.